What is up, my lovely people in BluCranium land? So this illustration, guys, is gonna be a follow-up to the illustration that I did called the BluCranium Cafe. I don't know why I felt the need to sing. I just felt like doing it. But I think what I have fun when I do these illustrations is the fact that I can just enjoy myself and create these fun dream looking rooms. So for this one, I pretty much took it like bumped it up to 3 or 4 notches, going from the standalone BluCranium Cafe. And for this one, I wanted to create an actual living space for 2 friends, just chilling and relaxing and enjoying the weekend and kind of pretty much like, catching up on the week's activities. But it's amazing how when you draw rooms, it takes a whole lot of time to illustrate each and everything in a room. And we go through so many rooms on a daily basis, whether it be the living room or the kitchen or our bedrooms or everything in between, and you just don't realize how long it would actually take to illustrate everything that you see in it until you actually sit down to do it. So this illustration actually took me a good chunk of almost, I think, the whole week to get done. And I first started out with drawing the rough sketch, obviously, and that was just to get an idea as to what I want in the room. And this one is pretty much gonna be a nice living room with a beautiful view. And I think when it comes to views and rooms, having a sea-facing view or something that is at the top of a high-rise building, like picture New York City in a high-rise building, and if you were standing out, or not out, but in the living room area and just looking over the city and what the room would look like or the city would look like at night, is what I was trying to accomplish with this room. I mean, usually when I've drawn rooms in the past, I always go for the day look, but for this one I kind of wanted to experiment with drawing a room in the nighttime where you have the obviously the no light outside the room because it's dark or getting dark, and then you have the lights on inside the living room, so it's kind of like the perfect balance of light and dark. And I've seen a whole lot of illustrations where other artists have done drawings of rooms which have the perfect balance of light and dark, and it's always cool to see how you kind of get that life kind of look to the room without it getting too AI looking. Yes, you have these AI generated images, and it's when it takes out the element of the artist from it and it's just generated, you can clearly tell the difference, and as opposed to when it's drawn by somebody from with hands not a button. So yeah, you can see this is what the line art looks like, and kind of added a whole lot of knickknacks in it to give the room a whole lot of storytelling. So yeah, I kind of have the high-rise buildings, just 2 actually, the lighthouse of the year, and just some more stuff for the room so it kind of doesn't look weakened and empty. But yeah, definitely the line art does take a whole lot of time to put together. So for the colors over here, I wanted to choose something of a nice dark color for the sofa, and this one kind of reminds me of the sky just after sunset, where it's not completely dark and it's not still as bright outside. So that's what I was kind of trying to get over here. And at this point I kind of had my Pinterest app open on my laptop, and we're just going through different pictures of different rooms and looking at the different colors that all put together to bring the room together. And I've said together a whole lot of times, but basically what I was trying to say is there are so many colors that end up happening in a room that you don't end up realizing it until you're actually illustrating it. So for this, since I was going for the bachelor look, I kind of wanted to keep the color palette kind of like that fun, bright, welcome look kind of, so it doesn't look all like dull. And as I said earlier, since I was trying to get the feeling of a room that is being illustrated in the nighttime, you have like a whole lot of light going on inside the room and it's dark on the outside. So I was trying to give it those vibes, and kind of wanted to give the room or the floors kind of like that hardwood look. I tell you, sometimes when you have throat irritation or a cough, it's kind of annoying because your words kind of get slurred and it almost looks like I had a beer or something before I did this voice recording. And gosh, I don't even drink, but yeah, it's kind of irritating because it's like you're trying to record this and your throat is like, can't you just shut up and just draw? And in my mind I'm like, no, I want to record and kind of explain to my viewers what I'm drawing over here and not just have them figure it out. So pretty much for the rest of the illustration, I just had my Pinterest app open and was just browsing through all the different rooms that I've saved over a period of time now, whether it be kitchens, living rooms, bedrooms, and pretty much just to get an idea as to color usage and trying to make this illustration as vibrant as possible. And just zenning out. Sometimes I'll like put a movie on and then just see where my thought process takes me and vibes carry me. But yeah, the coloring process is definitely something that takes some time, and when I'm actually finalizing it or getting towards the end, it's like sometimes I'll make a few changes here and there. Like for this one, you'll see at the very end I kind of completely changed around a few colors here and there, added a few more things so it doesn't look as empty, like in these little frames that you see over here. I kind of added some, I'm trying to remember if I added some bones or if I added some leaves, but I think I added some more stuff because I kind of felt like the illustration still needed some more. And that's one thing I can never get myself to decide as to when the illustration is actually done and complete, which is something that you can never get confused, I guess, when you're doing traditional art. I mean, especially if you're doing a painting, there's no way to add things once you've started the painting phase. I mean, I guess you could, but in digital it's so much more easier to add things to it and slowly and steadily work your way to the final or the end part of the illustration. Another thing I want to teach myself is, like, I know this illustration has these big floor to ceiling windows, and obviously if this was an illustration done in the daytime, there would be a whole lot of light coming into the living area. But I want to learn how to create the illusion of the direct sunlight kind of hitting the different parts of a room, and then there are some shadows in a certain part. And I think there is a way to do that with using the different filters that are available via Procreate, and that's something I want to get good at. As I told you, like, and maybe I did in the prior illustration, there's this illustrator that goes by the name Jazz Arts on Instagram, and he does this rooms that have this kind of like, you know, the morning sun hitting certain parts of the room, and it's done very well. And it almost looks like it's as close to the real thing as possible as see, I'm like blurring my words again, but you know what I meant to say. But I think what is the fun part about these illustrations is just having to create unique arrangements in rooms. Like another one I was thinking about, and these are just random thoughts that go through my mind when I am creating these pieces of art and all that, is I kind of wanted to make like a skeleton, like, you know, maybe just chilling on a lazy boy, kind of like really dead tired, literally, and then have these small little skeletons kind of fixing him up, kind of like, you know, one working on his foot and one working on his hand, and, you know, like kind of like what is it, like, I don't remember, maybe Santa's helpers. But yeah, I mean, there's all these random thoughts that go through my mind when I'm drawing all these things. It's amazing. Sometimes what I do is, if I have a random thought, I'll just jot it down or type it out in Notepad, and then revisit it and see if that's something that I can turn into an illustration. But for these ones and going forward, I'm just gonna use Procreate maybe for the most part, because I plan on turning these into prints, so that way if somebody down the line decides that they want to grab a piece, and then, you know, it'll be available, and so the art doesn't just stay digital. I mean, it has the option to become something physical that can actually be hung maybe in somebody's house or office, or, you know, something like that. But yeah, what was I gonna say? The coloring process, I mean, like when it comes to all these different objects, another thing I want to get good at is trying to render different materials. Like, you know, this little box that you see on the table, kind of like have it look like it has like a cardboard look to it, and then also like the creases and the folds that you would see in fabric that's on the sofa. So that's something I definitely want to learn over a period of time. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I found another artist on IG that actually shows these illustrations where I think one of his posts was, he shows how a t-shirt or a towel kind of sits on a chair, and how the fabric would fold, and, you know, like how the light and the shadows would be shown of the fabric. So I think that's kind of really cool thing to learn, especially when you're doing like things like this, like, you know, illustrating rooms and all that. So I think for the other ones, I'm definitely gonna try different things, like, you know, maybe besides what I said, a skeleton and the other small little skeletons, maybe like a couple maybe sitting in a swing, or trying to think now. I have a bunch of ideas that I've, as I said, typed out in my tablet on the notepad, and then every now and then I'll go and refresh it or change it up and add something, maybe take off something, and see what's fine, or that might actually end up being a final piece. But yeah, drawing these rooms is definitely fun, especially, and I think the most fun part about doing these illustrations is creating the illusion of space on a flat surface, like, you know, I mean, because obviously when this prints out, it'll be a flat surface, but creating that illusion that there is, you know, like as if you could like touch the actual illustration, I think makes it a whole lot of fun. So after a whole lot of color dropping and adding a few more accessories to the piece. It's finally coming closer to the end. So I kind of stopped recording this, the color droppings, or dropping colors onto the illustration. That sounded wrong. And finally, the end is here. Ta-ta! So this is what I ended up doing, guys, and this is what I was trying to get the end room to look like, a nice living room in the nighttime. And all in all, I think it came out pretty good, and hopefully I'll do more like these and y'all will enjoy and watch along. Till the next time, guys, keep creating, keep trying. See y'all down the road or on the other side. Bye for now.